Hello everybody and welcome back to our Parsha Puppet Show. This week we got a really great show for you. It is the last week of Chumash Vayikra, the last week of the book of Vayikra. And we have a double Parsha, Behar and Bechukosai. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful tropical island? Where on earth are we? Chaim, what are you doing over here on this tropical vacation resort? Aren't you supposed to be in school right now?
Rabbi Wagshel, it's great. I studied the Parsha this week, and I learned that every 7 years, you get to take a Shmita, a year off. It's great, no work this year. So I decided, in honor of 7 years of school, actually 6 years of school, my 7th year, I am now going to go on a vacation for a year. Woohoo!
No, Chaim. Let me tell you, you're making a mistake. That's not for school kids.
No, it's not.
No, you're thinking of the mitzvah of Shmita. Shmita is a very special and holy mitzvah. Just like we keep Shabbos every week, right, to remind us that Hashem created the world, so too the land of Israel should be worked in for 6 years by the farmers who farm the land and grow food. And in the 7th year, we let it rest as a Shabbos for Hashem to show that the land and the whole world really belongs to Hashem.
What? But how could people eat?
Well, actually, Hashem made a special blessing in the 6th year so they had enough food. And the farmers would just leave their fields open, and anything that grew, that was planted before, or that just grew from the leftover seeds that were in the field by itself without the farmer working it, could be eaten by anyone who wanted to walk in the field and take, as long as it didn't damage the farmer's field. Any animal could come. You could feed it to your animals in the house, but you can't sell it on the market. And as long as the animals that are wild and could come into your field could eat it, you're allowed to also feed it to your animals at home. But once it's finished inside the field, you cannot hoard any of it. You cannot keep it. You have to let it be free for everyone.
Wow, this is an amazing mitzvah. I don't know. People could actually not work for a whole year?
Oh yes, Chaim. But in fact, you know what they did do?
What did they do?
They went to school.
What? They went to school?
Well, okay, not exactly school. They went and studied Torah, and they did more spiritual things during that year.
Oh, so they spent a year, a sabbatical, like getting closer to Hashem.
That's right, Chaim, that's right.
Wow. So people actually keep this.
Yes, today, Chaim, in Eretz Yisrael, there are people who actually keep this. I went to Israel a few years back, and I saw on the side of the road signs, Kan Shomrim Shmita, here we keep Shmita. Wow, and the food of Shmita has special holiness. You know, I went to Israel and I stayed by a cousin, and I went into their kitchen during Shmita, and I saw that they had 2 garbage cans, one for the regular trash, and one they had for, it's called Pach Shmita, garbage or Shmita. Only the foods and food peels that were fruits of the land of Israel were thrown in there so they don't mix with the other garbage, because that fruit is holy fruit. It's the fruit of the holiness of Shmita.
Wow, that is really fascinating.
So Chaim, would you like to hear an amazing story about Shmita?
Sure, Rabbi Wagshel, please tell me.
Well, in the early years after the Second World War, when many Jews started to come and try to settle in the land of Israel, in the Holy Land, a very difficult test happened to a group of Jews that made a moshav, a settlement called Komemiyut. And they called it Komemiyut because in this week's Parsha, it says, Va'oilech eschem komemiyus, I will lead you upright back to the land of Israel. If you keep my mitzvos, Hashem is going to bring us upright to the land of Eretz Yisrael, and we're going to stand proud and tall.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Yes, but they had a little problem. Their Rav, after the first few months or year or so, realized that the next year would be Shmita.
Uh-oh. How do you start a new farm, a new settlement, and you can't even work? That doesn't make sense. They won't be able to eat. What are they going to do?
Well, Chaim, that's what they were thinking. But their Rav really convinced them to trust Hashem and trust Hashem's mitzvos, that if we keep Hashem's mitzvos, Hashem will give His bracha to us.
Wow, did they do it?
Yes, they did. And other people thought that they were either crazy or just irresponsible. But it turned out that everybody saw that Hashem made a great miracle for them.
How?
Well, not only did they survive Shmita, after Shmita, all the farmers were busy planting, but the other farmers started to plant before Rosh Hashanah, when you're not supposed to plant yet.
Oh, so did the people of Komemiut plant also then?
No, they waited till after Rosh Hashanah. And the other farmers thought that they were silly for waiting, because then if it starts raining, then they won't be able to plant anymore.
Oh, so what happened?
Well, they waited. After Rosh Hashanah, they had to go find seeds. And the seeds that they had to use, according to the halacha, according to Jewish law, had to be seeds that grew after Shmita or before Shmita, but not seeds that were grown during Shmita when they weren't allowed to be grown.
Uh-oh. So what did they do?
Well, they went around and they asked if anyone had some old seeds.
Old seeds? But old seeds won't grow.
That's what the other farmers said. Some farmers said, here, take our old seeds. You're silly. You should use new seeds. But they listened to their Rav, to their rabbi. They planted those old seeds. And sure enough, a great miracle happened. Anything that was planted early got destroyed. But the crops that were planted later actually grew, and they did not get destroyed. They had a blessing from Hashem. And the Rav of Komemiut told his students to make a Kiddush Hashem and give tzedakah to the other poor farmers who now had nothing to eat.
Wow, what an amazing story!
Yes, it is.
Baruch Hashem, good Yantif, Yom Kippur is over, the shofar is blown, that means we could go eat.
Rabbi Parsha, a good Yantif is right. Glad to see that you had a good fast and you're looking forward to eating, but the shofar doesn't mean that you can go eat.
Yeah, that's what it means. The shofar, Yom Kippur is over. Time to go eat. Let's go.
Well, true. We blow the shofar these days by the end of Yom Kippur. But do you know where that really came from?
No.
It came from the Parsha. Rabbi Parsha, you should know that.
How exactly?
Well, at the end of 7 years was Shmita, right?
Right, and the land rested.
Well, the Jewish court was commanded in the times that we had a Beis HaMikdash and a Sanhedrin and a high court in the land of Israel to count up those Shmita years. And 7 Shmita years, that's 7 times 7.
Let me guess, 49.
That's right, Rabbi Parsha. You at least know your math very well. After 49 years, the 50th year was also like a Shmita.
What? 2 Shmitas in a row?
Yes. It was called Yovel.
Yovel?
That's right. And the Yovel year, they would blow the shofar on Yom Kippur of the 50th year, just like we just heard. And all of the slaves who were serving their masters in Eretz Yisrael would go free, would go home, back to their Jewish families.
What?
Yes, and all the land that had been sold during those 50 years went back to the original Shevet, the original tribe that it was divided up to when Yehoshua, the student of Moshe, divided up the land when they came into Israel.
Oh, so that's why we blow the shofar. Tell me more about this Yovel.
Well, Yovel was very special. In Yovel, as I mentioned, they didn't do work. Just like Shmita.
What? Whoa, that is crazy.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Actually, the Torah says, if you will ask a question, if we're not going to do our work in our farm and we won't have any food, how will we eat?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Hashem says, "V'tziviti et birchati," I will command my blessing in the 6th year. So there will be enough food for 3 years.
3 years?
Yes, according to Rashi, that is the bit of the 6th year that they would eat from it, the whole 7th year, and the 8th year until new food could be grown.
Wow!
According to Abarbanel, it actually means the 6th year, Shmita, and Yovel, in the year of Yovel.
Whoa, that is a tremendous bracha.
You're telling me Hashem could do anything, right?
That's correct.
Also, in this Parsha, we're told not to cheat people and to be honest.
And what does it have to do with Yovel?
Well, actually, if you think about it, a dishonest person could try to trick somebody with Yovel.
How could they do that?
Well, a dishonest person could go and he could sell you a field to live in, but to work in, but next year will be Yovel and he'll get it back and you wasted your money.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a fair deal.
No, it doesn't. So the Torah commands us when we make the price of any real estate, of any land in the land of Israel, you have to figure out how many years are left until Yovel. Let's say there's 50 years. Well, let's say you're going to sell him $1 a year, so it will be $50. That's a bargain. I'm just giving an example, not really $50. And let's say there's 45 years left till Yovel. $1 a year would be $45. That's right. And if there was 30 years left, $30. Oh, you're catching on. Very good, Rabbi Parsha. Also, we're commanded not to give someone bad advice that we know is wrong and we're trying to trick them.
Well, how is anyone going to know?
Well, that's the Torah says, "V'yarei you should be afraid, you should fear Hashem, because Hashem knows what's in your thoughts."
Oh, that's true, that's true.
The Rambam wrote a book called Mora Nevuchim, the Guide for the Perplexed, where he explained that the reason is that Hashem wanted that the land of Israel should have a rest, so that every 6 years, when the land was the weakest from growing so much food, it would have a year to regain its strength.
Oh, so it sounds like it's smart farming.
Well, that's what you would think, but then you realize it doesn't make any sense.
And why not?
Well, if the reason was to regain its strength, then think about it. If you're not going to work for the 7th year and sometimes also the 8th year in Yovel, and you're going to rely on the 6th year giving you enough food for 2 or 3 years, the 6th year, according to the Rambam, is the weakest year.
Oh yeah, how could that happen?
Well, that's just it. It's just like keeping Shabbos.
How is it like keeping Shabbos?
Well, sometimes someone has a store and they say, how could I close my store on Shabbos? It's the best day. It's the most important day. But Hashem says, no, don't work. Trust me, you'll make enough money in 6 days that you won't need to work on Shabbos. So too here, Hashem will give us enough food in those 6 years that we won't need to work in that 7th or even the Yovel year. Wow! The Gemara in Sanhedrin tells us that in the world, Hashem created the world to last for 7,000 years, just like 7 days of a week. The 6 millennia, the 6,000 years of work when we do the job of bringing Hashem into this world. Oh! And then, when it comes after the year 6,000, when it comes the 7th millennia, the 7,000 period of years, then it's Shabbos. Mashiach will come and will rest from all the work and difficulties, and it'll be a time of knowing Hashem. That's correct. You know, Rabbi Parsha?
Yes?
There is a little question.
What's the question?
Well, the question is, sort of like the Rambam was saying, that the ground is at the least strong in the 6th year, right? Right? And nevertheless, Hashem makes a great miracle. From the 6th year, they eat for 2 or 3 years, right? Right? Well, we could ask the same question about ourselves right now.
How?
Well, if we're supposed to bring Mashiach, all the generations before us were much greater than us, right?
Yeah?
So how are we? We are not as strong as Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Yosef, Moshe, all the great leaders. How can we hope to bring Mashiach? Oh, well, just like Hashem blessed the sixth year with strength beyond what it should have naturally, so too Hashem will bless us, and we will be able to get the job done.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm gonna quickly go do some more mitzvahs to bring Mashiach now.
Good idea. Excuse me, do you need help? Can I give you some tzedakah? Can I give you some charity?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm gonna be okay. I don't need anything.
You don't need any tzedakah, but you sure look like you don't have a home, that you're living on the street.
Well, actually, yes, but next year I will have my home back.
What? Next year you're going to have your home back? Why? What makes you think that you're going to get a home next year? I mean, right now things look pretty bad for you, sir.
Oh, don't worry. I know I got pretty down on my luck and I had to sell my home and my land, but next year is Yovel.
Yovel?
Yeah, don't you know?
Oh yeah, Yovel. What do you? Oh, you mean you mean that you're gonna get back your home?
That's right. I believe in Yovel. Mashiach will come. It will be Yovel. I will get back my home and my land.
Wow, that's a very optimistic guy over there. Okay, see you later.
Hey, you!
Oh, hi. How are you, sir? Wow, what a beautiful house you have over here.
Do you remember me?
Do I remember you? No. Who are you?
I was the homeless guy that you saw last year.
What? Oh my gosh. Wow, you got your house back.
Yeah, didn't I tell you about Yovel?
Oh, wow. Okay. We got to explain this to the kids. Guys, this man over here is trying to teach us something in the Parsha. That in the Parsha this week, we learn that if a person has a house or a field and he sells it because he's poor, he shouldn't sell it if he has the money. He shouldn't sell all of his land. But if he really is poor and he sells even his last thing, his last house, his last field, and he has nothing, don't worry. When it comes the Yovel year, he could get it back.
That's right. But if he gets some money, he could buy it back earlier.
Oh, explain.
Well, the first 2 years, he can't buy it back. But after 2 years, either he or a relative who wants to help him could buy it back from the owner.
But the owner bought it. How could he just give it up?
Well, the Torah commands that the owner should calculate how many years are left to Shmita. Let's say he bought it for $50 for 50 years, and there's 25 years left to Shmita. So he gives him back $25, and he can buy it back.
Wow, that is very interesting. Does it always work like that? Can you always buy it back?
No, certain things you can't buy back.
Like what?
Well, if you sell a house in a walled city, a city with a wall, then you have up to 1 year to get it back.
Is there any exceptions to that?
Yes, the Leviim, who did not have any land in Israel, they could always buy their houses back at any time.
Cool. What about houses in an unwalled city?
Those houses are treated just like fields, and you could buy them back at any time after the 2 years.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is amazing. I'm so happy for you that you got your house back.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Chaim.
Yes, honey. Chaim, could I please borrow your ball? I want to go play with my friends outside.
You want to borrow my ball? Sure, you can borrow my ball. But I got to get something out of the deal, too.
Okay, what do you want? I want a pack of gum and to play with your slime.
Okay. Wait a second, Chaim and Chani. This deal doesn't sound so good over here.
Why, what's the matter? It's a great deal. I get gum and I get slime.
Yeah, but the Torah says when you lend something to your fellow, you should not take interest.
Interest? I'm always very interested.
No, not that type of interest.
Oh yeah, I learned about it in school. You're not allowed to ask me for any favors or anything extra when you lend me something. That would be Interest, that would be taking more than you gave me. Oh,
Well, sometimes you could do rental. Let's say if you wanted to charge her for renting the ball, but I don't know if that's so nice to do to your sister.
yeah, that's true.
And the Torah tells us that if somebody is getting really poor and you see that they have no more money left and they ask you for a loan of money or you offer them a loan of money, you should help them get back on their feet and not charge them interest, because that will make it harder for them to make back their money.
That's true.
We have to treat every single Jew like a brother and help them. Hi Chaim, how you doing?
Baruch Hashem.
Chaim, you look thoughtful. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, Chaim, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be an Evet Ivri.
A slave?
Yep, a slave.
You want to be a slave when you grow up?
Yeah, it's great. I learned all about it in the Parsha.
What? A slave is great?
Yeah, the Torah says that if you buy a Jewish slave, you have to be very nice to him. You can't make him work hard. You have to give him the same food that you eat, give him the same type of bed that you sleep in. You have to take care of his family. It's great that I could never be fired, and I have a free, easy job forever.
Oy, Chaim, it is not a good thing to be a slave.
No, why not?
Because Hashem says, Kili b'nei Yisrael avadim, avadai heim. The Jewish people are my servants, says Hashem. I got them before when I took them out of the land of Mitzrayim. And the Jewish people are supposed to serve Hashem, not to have a person as their master.
Oh.
And they might even be sold to a non-Jewish person.
That's not good.
Yes, because they'll learn from the ways of the non-Jewish person, and the Jewish people are commanded to redeem him as soon as possible. And if they see the non-Jewish person treating him badly, they should not let that happen.
No, sir, that doesn't sound good.
And the Torah commands that the Jewish slave should not forget that he's a Jew. Even if he's bought by a non-Jewish person, he has the mitzvah of still keeping Hashem's mitzvahs, and he should not become like his master, serving idols or breaking Shabbos.
Oh, wow. Okay, I guess I don't want to be a slave when I grow up after all. I'll get a nice job working for the union.
Oh, you silly puppet.
All right, fine, I'll be a rabbi making puppet shows.
That sounds interesting. Rabbi Parsha, what are you doing in the gym picking up holy books, picking up Svarim? Rabbi Parsha, let me take that from you. What on earth are you doing?
Well, it says in this week's Parsha, in Bechukosai telecho, if you will go in my laws, my chukim.
Yeah?
Ves mitzvosai tishmoru, and you will guard my mitzvos.
Yeah?
So doesn't that sound repetitive?
Oh yeah, sounds like they both are talking about mitzvos, right?
Right, but Rashi explains that Bechukosai telecho is not talking about mitzvos. It's talking about you should go, you should be amelim b'Torah, you should work hard in learning Torah, and then you will get all the special rewards that Hashem promised.
Rewards? What type of rewards?
Well, look.
Wow, this is so beautiful. What's going on?
Well, you'll have rain at the right time. Your field will grow food, and the food will grow on the trees, and we'll be busy gathering our food from the time the grain grows until the grapes grow, and from the grapes grow until the time that we have to plant the new food again. We'll eat and be satisfied. We will live securely in our land and not have to worry about any enemies. There'll be peace. We'll lay down without fear.
Wow, that sounds like a really great life.
Wait, it gets better. No armies will come in our land. 5 Jewish soldiers will chase 100 enemies, and 100 Jewish soldiers will chase 10,000 enemies. Wow, and we won't even have to hurt them. They'll just fall down on their own swords.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, and Hashem will turn to us and reward us, and we will eat mature produce, ripened produce, and it will be very yummy, and we'll have so much to eat that we'll have to get
rid of the old things in our storage house for new things. Oh, Rabbi Parsha, I hate to disappoint you. I don't think working hard in the Torah means lifting up books. Oh, it means going to Torah classes, studying and teaching others. That is what working hard in the Torah means. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. The Rambam says that when the Torah is giving these rewards in this week's Parsha, it's not saying that this is the main reward. The main reward comes in Olam Haba. But Hashem is telling us that if we're going to keep the mitzvahs, Hashem will take away all of the problems that we usually have, so we could be free to learn Torah and do mitzvahs without any worries. If you look later on, when the Torah speaks about the Mikdash and Hashem walking amongst us, that is the real reward, coming close to Hashem and having Hashem as our God. Chaim, what are you doing looking at all these donkeys over here?
I'm just trying to find the donkey that will be Mashiach's donkey.
Mashiach's donkey?
Doesn't it say in the Navi in Zechariah that Mashiach will be a poor man riding on a donkey?
Well, it also says in the Navi Daniel that Mashiach will be riding on clouds.
So which is it?
Well, there's a famous Gemara in Sanhedrin where the Gemara explains that if the Jewish people merit, if they deserve it, then Mashiach will coming from the heavens on clouds in a very honorable, miraculous way. Hopefully, we should deserve it and have great miracles.
That's correct. Well, actually, I was reading in the Rambam that the Rambam says you shouldn't think that when Mashiach comes that we're going to have any miracles. It's just going to be a natural world. Just we won't have to serve the nations and we could do mitzvahs and learn Torah.
In our Parsha, Rashi mentions a very interesting miracle that Hashem promises in Bechukosai Telechu. Hashem promises that the Eitz Hasadeh Yiten Pirio, the tree of the field, will give its fruit. And Rashi explains that's talking about the trees that don't give fruits normally.
What? A tree that doesn't have fruits will give fruits? That's a miracle.
Correct. And it's talking about when Mashiach will come, Hashem will make a miracle, and even the trees that don't normally give fruits will give fruits. The Rambam also made 13 principles of faith, and one of those principles is that when Mashiach comes, those who passed away will come back to life. Isn't that a great miracle?
Yeah, so what's going on?
Well, actually, there's a very interesting explanation of the Lubavitcher Rebbe about this. You want to hear it?
Yeah, sure.
Well, one explanation that's possible is that the Rambam is describing that the main purpose of Mashiach's coming is not for miracles. The main purpose is that we should be able to learn Torah and serve Hashem in the natural world.
Oh,
and even if miracles don't happen, that is still possible. But the Rambam, of course, is not saying that miracles won't happen. They could possibly happen if we deserve it, like we were saying before. And maybe first it could start in a natural way, and then later on, when the dead are coming back, then Hashem will start doing great miracles.
Oh!
Rabbi Parsha, why are you crying? What's the matter? Oh, it's too terrible to say. I just read it in the Parsha. What did you read in the Parsha? Shh. What do you mean, shh? Why do I have to be shh?
Well, don't you know that it's a special custom that in this week's Parsha, when we read this part of the Parsha, we say it in a lower voice. We don't speak too loud.
Why not?
Because we don't want to mention such terrible things out loud. It's too so terrible. Punishments, Hashem says, could happen to us if we don't keep the mitzvos. Who wants to read about punishments?
Oh, you're right. Well, we have to learn the Parsha though. Can you tell us about it?
Okay, I'll say it in a whisper. Hashem says that if we are going to have 7 sins, we're not going to listen
by not studying the Torah and not keeping the mitzvos, and we're going to be disgusted by those people who keep the mitzvos and hate Torah scholars and stop other people from keeping the mitzvos and deny that the mitzvos are from Hashem, and we'll break our promise with Hashem and denying the principles of faith, then Hashem will bring punishments on us. The punishments include sickness like fever without a cure. Our enemies will beat us. We're going to just run away and no one will be chasing us. Oh no, that's really scary. And there'll be no rain and the fruits will rot and the land won't grow and the wild animals will hurt us. Oy gewalt. This sounds really, really sad. And our animals will die and the roads will be empty and then armies will chase us and then plagues and then no food and 10 women will break bread in one oven and they will not eat it. Well, they'll eat and not be satisfied. 10 women will bake bread in one oven. What's that about? Well, there won't be any wood, so they'll all have to bake in one oven. Oh, oy vey, that's really sad. And if they still don't do tshuva, Hashem will demolish their tall buildings and their cities will be in ruin and they will fall on their avodah zarah, their idols that they worshipped. And the Beis HaMikdash will be empty of visitors and Hashem will no longer have the karbanos and Hashem will bring them in the land of their enemies. And now we could speak in a louder voice. Hashem promises that even during those times when Hashem takes them in the land of their enemies, Hashem will not abandon us. He will remember His promise to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov and take us back and save us. Baruch Hashem. Yes, Baruch Hashem. Wow. And Hashem promises that the land of Israel will rest when the Jewish people leave it for the 70 years that the Jews were out of the first Beis HaMikdash, before the second Beis HaMikdash was built. The land rested 70 years for 70 years of Shmita and Yovel that the land was supposed to rest, and the Jewish people didn't let it rest. I want to tell you a little story. Okay, tell me a story. I like stories. Maybe it'll cheer me up. Well, one time in the Gemara Moed Katan, there was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai sent his son, Rabbi Elazar. Oh yeah, we just learned about that by Lag BaOmer. That's right. He sent his son to get a bracha by a rabbi named Rabbi Yonasan ben Asmai and Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim. Okay, did they give him a bracha? Well, that's the funny part. When he came to these rabbis, the rabbis gave him very funny blessings. They said, whatever you sow, you will not reap. That means what you plant, you will not cut. What? That doesn't sound like a blessing. And he said, whatever you bring in, you will not bring out. Huh? That your table will be disturbed. Well, he went back to his father, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he told Rabbi Shimon about these strange things that they told him. And Rabbi Shimon smiled and he said, my son, they're giving you a blessing in code. Some blessings are so great that they cannot be revealed, they cannot be said in an open way. And so they were giving you a code. When they said that you will plant things and not cut them, it means you will plant children in the world and not chas v'shalom, they will never be taken away from this world. Oh, amazing. And when he said, whatever you take out won't come back in. When your daughters will become a kala and go out and get married, they won't come back in. Oh, interesting. And when we said that your table will be disturbed, it will be disturbed by a lot of happy kids running around. Oh, wow. Wait, so is it possible that all of the things in the Parsha are like codes for blessings? And in Jewish history, unfortunately, all of these things that we read about actually happened. The Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. The Jewish people were chased by enemies and had to go through all kinds of tsaris, all kinds of trouble. But now we could look forward to the deeper meaning, the hidden blessings that are behind all of these not good things that are mentioned. Hashem has all kinds of blessings in store for us very soon with the coming of Mashiach. Wait, could you give me an example, please, of how one of these things could be a blessing? I can't understand it. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I learned in some Chassidus of the first Chabad Rebbe, Rabbi Shneir Zalman of Liadi. He explains about the 10 women baking bread in one oven. Bread represents Torah. Why does bread represent Torah? Because just like when you eat bread, it fills up your belly and makes you feel good inside, so too Torah, when you learn it, it changes your mind, it changes your heart. But the bread, or just like the bread needs to be baked, your Torah needs to be made ready with the fire of love of Hashem. If you learn Torah without love of Hashem, it doesn't properly nourish you, doesn't properly fill you up and make your mind and heart grow. Oh, so how do you cook your Torah? With love of Hashem. How do you get love of Hashem? Well, you have to go to the oven of one baked by the 10 women. What? The 10 women are the 10 powers of our neshama, called the 10 spheros. Oh, I heard about this. And when the oven of one is the one Hashem, when you use all of your soul, then you will bake your bread, your Torah will be baked with love of Hashem. You'll learn Torah with love of Hashem, and you'll eat and you won't be satisfied. What? That's not a blessing? Eat and not being satisfied? Well, you'll eat the Torah, you'll learn the Torah, and you won't be satisfied with that Torah. You'll want to learn more and more Torah, because you'll love Hashem so much. Oh, wow. Well, I hope that Hashem only blesses Bnei Yisrael, and we never have any of these tsaris ever again in our history. Ani, you look really upset. I'm so upset at my little brother. He keeps on getting into my toys and messing everything up. Oh boy, what are you going to do? I think I'm going to donate him to the Beis HaMikdash. You're going to donate your brother to the Beis HaMikdash? Where did you get such a funny idea? Well, doesn't it say in the Parsha that you could make a donation to the Beis HaMikdash? You could donate a person? Oh, yeah. Well, actually, it's interesting you should mention it. The Torah does speak about donating to the Beis HaMikdash, but it doesn't speak about, you can't donate your brother. You could only donate something which you own. Oh. You could promise the value of yourself to the Beis HaMikdash, and then you could pay how much a person is worth. What? Like, how does that work? Well, the Torah gives different amounts. If a person is between 20 years and 60 years, then it's 50 shekel for a man and 30 shekel for a woman. If you're 5 years old to 20 years old, it's 20 for a man and 10 for a woman. If you're 1 month old to 5 years old, it's 5 for a boy and 3 for a girl. If you're over 60, it's 15 for a man and 10 for a woman. The Kli Yakar, a commentary on the Chumash, explains that since we just read about a Jew going through all kinds of difficult situations, when we're saved from danger, we a lot of times, we promise Hashem that we're going to give our life over to Hashem. We're going to give big mitzvah promises, just like the story of Yonah. Oh yeah, the sailors, when they got saved from the storm, they made promises to Hashem. Correct. So the Torah speaks about these laws of making promises to donate to Hashem after the difficult times that are mentioned in the Aliyah before. Oh, that makes sense. Oh no, what's the matter, Chaim? I just won this art set. That's great, you won an art. I didn't want the art set, I wanted the Lego set. Oh, well, be happy you won something. You know, I'm going to go over to that boy who won the Lego set and convince him that the art set is really better for him. Wait a minute, Chaim. That might be breaking 2 mitzvos. Oh, really? Well, lo tachmo, don't be jealous. And if you convince someone, it's one of the 10 commandments, to give you their thing, because you're jealous, that's an Aveira. Also, in the Parsha, it mentions that if you gave an animal to the Beis HaMikdash, you're not allowed to switch it, even for a better one. But even for a better one, that's not fair. If it's better, why can't you switch it? Well, because the Torah knows that some people have a Yetzer Hara. Like who? Never mind. And they might try to convince someone that the other one is better when it's really not. I see what you mean. Right. So when you make a pledge of an animal to the Beis HaMikdash, it becomes holy, and you can't switch it. And if you do try to switch it, then both of them become holy. Now, the owner could redeem it by buying it back, but he has to add 1/5 of money extra. Okay. Palace for sale, palace for sale. Anyone want to buy a palace? Huh, excuse me, Mr. Guard at Buckingham Palace over there. What are you doing? I'm trying to sell this palace. I'm sick and tired of guarding it all day, standing like a piece of wood. I want to sell the palace and get rid of it so I can go and have a normal life. You're a funny guy. Don't you know, Mr. Soldier, sir, some things are a little bit too important to just sell or give away. Like what? Well, actually in the Parsha, we speak about selling fields or houses that were in our family for many years.
Oh, like Buckingham Palace here was in the family of the kings and queens of England for many years, right?
That's right. There are certain laws about that. You can't just sell them and give them away. They're always going to come back to their original owners.
What? My plan won't work?
Well, let me explain. You see, the Jewish people, the land of Israel was divided into all the tribes. And every tribe got certain pieces of land based on how many families they had. And if somebody became really poor and had to sell it, the rule is that every 50 years at Yovel, the land would go back. And the price of the land was made based on how many years left until Yovel. Okay? If you sold a field, okay, so it would be 50 shekels per chomer. It's about 65 gallons of barley seed. That a chomer is a certain, 50 shekels is a certain amount of money for that amount based on how many years were left until Yovel.
Okay, so you can sell it, right?
Well, at Yovel, the land would go back to the original family that it was sold from.
Oh.
And actually, now if you bought some land from somebody else and you donated to the Beis HaMikdash, it would still go back to its original owner in Yovel.
Oh, well, I guess I will just guard this palace. It will be with the queen forever.
Hey, Chaim, where are you going? I'm going to the farm. I heard that there are some special mitzvahs that farmers can do. Oh, let's check it out. What's going on over here at the farm?
Hey there, y'all.
Oh, he's got a nice southern drawl over there.
Yes, how y'all doing? Howdy. Howdy, Chaim.
Howdy, Farmer Yosef.
What are you doing? I'm doing the mitzvah of Maaser Behema.
Maaser Behema? How does it work?
Well, every 10 animals that goes underneath through my fence, I put my stick on it with some red paint, and the 10th one is holy, and you gotta give it to the Kohen, and the Kohen will make a korban, but you can enjoy some of the meat too, and it is a gift to Hashem.
Wow, that's really special. What other mitzvahs do you get to do on a farm? Doesn't that get very expensive, giving your animals?
Well, I learned that when you trust Hashem, Hashem gives you plenty to eat and plenty of animals and good stuff. Don't try to cheat and switch the animal for something less expensive, because that won't work. Both of them will become holy.
Oh,
and don't try to donate an animal that attacked someone and was condemned to death, because that's not a mitzvah. That animal is worthless. My favorite mitzvah is the Maaser Sheni party.
The Maaser Sheni party? What are you talking about, Farmer Yosef?
Well, every few years we give 10% of our crops, and we don't eat it by ourselves or give it to the poor. We bring it to the Yerushalayim, and we celebrate and make a big party and thank Hashem and invite everybody to join us.
Oh, so you could only eat Maaser Sheni in Yerushalayim, right?
That's right. But you can sell it and get money, and you can bring that money to Yerushalayim and buy the food there if it's too much fruit to carry. Well, I just got one more thing to tell you folks.
And what is that, Farmer Yosef?
I just want to say, Chazak, Chazak, Venit Chazek.
Oh, Chaim, did you realize we just finished Chumash Vayikra? Wow, Farmer Yosef, thank you very much. Chaim, we're done the whole Chumash Vayikra.
Wow, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. I can't believe it. We did so many puppet shows together.
Yes, Baruch Hashem. And we learned so many things. And it's so amazing. And in Mirz Hashem, we're going to continue learning Torah. And the more Torah you learn, the more close you come to Hashem. Good Shabbos.
It's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done.